All right, and the Thunder did the thing. They made a trade, maybe appeased everybody, but Sam Presti's doing it once again. He is robbing everybody in the NBA, making everybody wonder, how does he keep doing it? The Oklahoma City Thunder trade for Jared McCain. And of course, we're here to break it down. Today, I'm joined by Jay over at Unfair Sports. Jay, how you doing today?
Pretty good, PG. Let's talk some Thunder ball. I haven't done this in a bit, so a little rusty, but we're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just dive right into it because the Oklahoma City Thunder this year started off the season really hot. And then over the past, 20-ish games, people started asking questions. Like, does this team need to change? Do we need to go out and make an acquisition? And Sam Presti, listen, when he starts calling people and asking for your players, I would probably just hang up the phone because if the Thunder want your players, you probably should hold on to them. You get Jared McCain, and my initial thoughts were this was a fantastic trade. So I want to hear your thoughts first, and let's just talk about it.
Yeah, the Jerry McCain was to me, a really good pickup by the Thunder because McCain is young, and it's a very buy low risk move that they did. They had a ton of draft picks, and they gave up mainly seconds with their lowest first for the year that they need to get rid of because they're not going to be able to draft 4 players this year, right? You don't have enough roster spots. Heck, they just made a move that said Ousmane Dieng out to Charlotte, and they routed him to Chicago, brought in Mason Plumlee, and they just waived him because they ain't got no spots for it. But Jerry McCain is a very high upside player because last year as a rook, people thought that he was going to end up being the face of the 76ers. Like, he was out there balling like he was going to be one. I mean, he was putting up almost 12 shots a game, right? Averaging 15.3 per game, and he was hooping. Imagine having that here when he's healthy. Now, he had a meniscus tear, and he's dealing with some ailments. He should be back soon, but dude, he came in first round pick from Duke, hooping. This year, not so much, but don't matter. I think that he gives the Thunder a young player that allows for them to be more flexible with everybody else on the roster.
Well, and here's my deal about this. I think a lot of people are looking at how well he played last year, kind of having the sophomore slump post injury. But I think a lot of people forget VJ Edgecombe. Come on, like way better.
He is good
than Jared McCain, and I think Jared McCain naturally.
I don't know about way, but he is better.
Would have naturally taken a backseat to VJ Edgecombe this year, and maybe a lesser role than what he had, especially with Paul George playing better. Joel Embiid getting kind of healthy. Like that 76er squad last year to this year, Jared McCain, I could see taking a lesser role, but over the last week, McCain averaged around 13 points a game and shot 50% from the field and 59% from three. So maybe he was starting to find himself a little bit because this year he's still only shooting 38% from three, which pretty respectable in the NBA when you're wanting, somebody that can just shoot the three ball. So if you can get McCain back up into the, mid 40s, you're going to feel pretty good about this thing, especially with him being a shot creator.
I mean, that's going to be a challenge with any player going into the mid 40s. Like, mid 40s is not a very common number when it comes to 3-point shooting, but him being able to shoot in the 38 range, that's pretty darn good on average, especially with as many shots as he takes. Because if I'm correct, he was taking like 6, 7, or 8 threes in a game on a consistent basis. Like, I think his average right now he's at 3, but last year he was shooting a lot more, but he was shooting like 11 shots a game too. Last season. Yeah, he's shooting 5.8, so roughly about 6 threes per game and shooting at 38%. He needs to get that number back up, stay consistently close to 40, especially at the large of a clip he's shooting. But he was shooting 46% from the field at 11 shots a game. It's not bad. That's respectable.
Well, and I think for a lot of Oklahoma City Thunder fans too, you have to understand Jared McCain's a guy that maybe plays off the bench for you quite a bit with that bench unit. And if you have a healthy AJ Mitchell, you can run him with Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe. And now all of a sudden it opens up the idea for him to be a better shooter because now he doesn't have as many defenders looking his way and prioritizing on him, right? He's going to get a little bit more of man. So maybe he becomes a better shooter because of that. Like overall, I think the situation and the fit is really good for Jared McCain, and he solves a lot of issues for Oklahoma City if he can stay healthy. I think that's kind of the big if here.
Yeah, that is the key thing. Is all about his health. But when he's playing, like you said, he's putting up numbers, right? He's able to be a consistent scorer and a consistent threat. All he's got to do now is, like I said, get healthy, and the pressure won't be on him to score all the time. So he can actually play pretty free and loose, and just put up numbers. I mean, it's still going to lean on Shea. You're still going to lean on Dub. You're going to still lean on just about everybody else. Hell, AJ Mitchell, you'll lean on him a lot more in comparison. But that's the good thing, is the Thunder can take these risks. Like Ousmane Dieng was a big project for them, and it just didn't work out. He's still young. So that doesn't mean, bad things about Ousmane. If he goes to Chicago, he has an opportunity to see if he can get himself another contract. But Jared McCain, you still got a couple years left on his. So there's no rush in trying to get him, get his contract, going or anything, or make sure get him going. You've got a couple of years to decide if you want to do that or not.
Yeah, and one of the things that really intrigues me about having him for a couple of years is, obviously, the first round pick you would have had this year with the Rockets, you wouldn't have gotten a Jared McCain type of player out of the draft, more than likely. Yeah. Those second round picks more than likely would have not turned into a Jared McCain type of player.
Nope.
So essentially, you spent a first round pick on Jared McCain, what you would have this year in the draft. You're getting a valuable player to your lineup. And then in a couple of years, if he's a guy that's averaging 15, 20 points a game off the bench, 6th man of the year a couple times, he's going to be a very valuable player on the market. Oklahoma City could turn around and flip him for 2 or 3 draft picks and I know people are going to say this is crazy, to start stashing away for the post-SGA era, because he's already thinking about that. Sam Presti wants to start preparing for that future, and this is an opportunity for him to kick those picks down the road and build some more value in a player that, listen, they know they're not going to be able to keep long-term, but if he meets the upside that he has, they can turn that into another 2 or 3 first-round picks, which would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you probably get another first, a few seconds out of him down the line or whatnot. You've got about 2 years to see where that goes, or you may end up extending him if you lose Isaiah Joe, right? Or a few other players that are about to be extension eligible and decide to go take some extra money. There's a lot of he allows for flexibility in how the roster is going to be built. We just need to see if he's able to contribute, which I think he will. He's still young, like I say, 21 years old. He'll turn 22 this month. And so, but with his game, now that he's back from that torn ligament in his thumb, that's what it was. That's what he went down for at the beginning of the season. But now once he gets back up and running and get back into the groove, I mean, I know he's played a little G League time. They sent him back up and down because of the recovery from not only the meniscus tear, but the ligament tear in his thumb. But once he gets back into his groove, man, he can be something. And I think here in a new environment, this is probably a good way to get his confidence back. Especially, like I said, he can play loose and free. He doesn't have to be a main scorer like he was at Philly. Hell, they just lost Paul George to a banned substance deal, so he's gone for a bit. And you got a few players that have to step up, with Maxey and Edgecombe or whatnot. There was pressure on him to be able to contribute now, especially because Joel Embiid ain't got that much time, right? He's old. His body's old. He ain't got that here. All he's got to do, McCain got to do, is get into the groove, and at some point, he ended up being able to, be a big time contributor. I love the trade in that pickup.
Yeah, and he fits the culture really well. But I don't think it's going to be long before Oklahoma City Thunder fans get to see him on the court. You've got games against Houston and LA and Milwaukee coming up, and with SGA now being out for a couple weeks, and J-Dub still kind of the unknown of when is he going to come back. Jared McCain's going to get an opportunity to see the floor, and I think Oklahoma City Thunder fans are going to be impressed in their first couple of showings of Jared McCain.
Yeah, see that.
All right, Jay. So kind of looking at the season midway mark. We're a little over the midway mark, getting ready to head into the All-Star break. What's your thoughts so far? The Oklahoma City Thunder, I think a lot of people were really hoping that they were going to touch the Warriors record, but I think reality is settling in. It's hard to win back-to-back championships. There's a reason why you haven't seen a team do it in a while. Obviously, yep. I think the move of making a Jared McCain move helps in that direction a little bit, but Oklahoma City Thunder fans are starting to see the tax. Injuries are piling up. SGA's out. What's your thoughts on the season so far, and kind of like, what do you think is going to happen on the second half of the season?
I mean, it doesn't look that much different than it did last season, right? Like you were dealing with a whole bunch of injuries up until you got to the playoffs. And truth be told, I don't know how injured anybody really is. I know Dub is still dealing with some stuff. If this feels more and more like they're resting people, it's load management because they want to make sure that as soon as they get to the playoffs, just like last year you didn't have Chet going up until right before, and then he ramped himself up at the end of the season. I think they're kind of doing something similar in this situation, getting everybody the rest that matters in the right games in those moments. And then when the playoffs come, they're going to go, balls to the wall. They're going to ball out. And that's what they did, like I said, last year. So this is 40-11. They'll be 40-12 after the Spurs game. Can't beat that. Now all you got to do is close the season out strong, which they most likely will. They'll probably replicate what they did last year, get 60-something wins again, get the number 1 seed again, get home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs, which to me are probably the two things they care the most about, especially getting it throughout the entire playoffs. That way they can make sure that they're at the crib more often and, push to go ahead and make the magic happen for another championship run.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I think you're seeing a lot of players rest. There's just these weird injuries, and then all of a sudden they're back the next night. SGA, though, I do believe that is a legitimate injury because I've seen a couple times in a couple videos where you could tell maybe he was hurting a little bit, but, SGA understood it was important for him to be on the court. And I think now was a really good time for him to kind of step away and say, hey, I need a little bit of rest. I've been playing a lot of minutes, been trying to help carry this team. And now Chet Holmgren is going to get an opportunity to show us what he's really made of and see if he can help be a number 1 option anywhere in the league. I don't think he is the number 1 option, but he's going to get an opportunity to show it. So
yeah, he'll 100% get that opportunity, and this is the best stretch for him, especially heading into the playoffs, right? Heading to the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. They're going to get a long break, so SGA now gets roughly 2 weeks to kind of chill. San Antonio, you got Houston coming to town, travel to LA, Phoenix with the West Coast swing, and and then the Milwaukee game at the crib, and then from there you get 8 days off before you play against Brooklyn at home. And that's when you really get back into the grind of things. So for them, the goal is to finish out losing no more than 3 games probably here, and then make another push to try to, lose no more than 17 for the season. Like I said, match last year's number or, get 1 less, which is fine, and see if you can win a title. They realize that as cool as it would be to go to 70 wins, don't really help you when it comes to trying to win a chip. But this team is deep enough to where they can push for it one day. But, injuries have settled in. J-Dub's still dealing with that wrist situation. He's getting back into the groove. Hopefully he's back after the break, and they can go back to balling the way they were before.
Yes, I think they will do that as well. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on today to talk about some Thunder basketball. It's been too long. We have to do this a little bit more often.
Yeah, we have to make it happen, my man. We have to definitely do that.
All right. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next time.